Welcome to Echoes of Temptation, the channel where pretenders fall and betrayers pay dearly. This is the story of Alex, an ordinary, dedicated man who built his life alongside the woman he loved. They married young, grew up together, and worked at the same company. For 5 years, he believed everything was fine, that their love was real, that their partnership was mutual, until one detail started to bother him. At first, he thought it was all in his head. Then he tried to talk about it. But what seemed like a silly annoyance turned into doubt. What seemed like simple jealousy turned into silence. Until he started to watch. Because some things nobody needs to tell you. You just feel them. Today, you will hear this story in his own voice. And you will understand why not all betrayal happens between four walls. And not all revenge needs to be shouted. I've always been a calm guy, never one for drama or exaggeration. I always believed that trust was the foundation of everything. And if you have to be suspicious all the time, then it's not worth being there. I married Isabela when I was 25. She was 21. We were two young people with plans, sharing our world on two pillows with a single future. We worked at the same company, but in different buildings. I was in development, working remotely most of the time. She was in the administrative department, on site. My career was going well. I was growing, earning respect, bonuses, recognition. She was somewhat stagnant, but she spoke of her daily tasks as if she were single-handedly saving the company. I found it kind of funny at first. I let her shine where she could. But then one day, she came home excited, talking nonstop about her new boss. Rodrigo this, Rodrigo that. I listened. It was just another name, I thought. New people always become a topic of conversation. Except over time, the name kept coming up, and up, and up. I noticed how her eyes would light up when she talked about him. She laughed differently. There was a way she told stories that wasn't the same as before. At first, I kept quiet. I didn't want to seem paranoid. But when even on weekends, in the middle of lunch, or before going to sleep, some funny story that Rodrigo told would come up, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I approached her and said, Isabela, do you realize how much you talk about this guy? Like, all the time? She laughed, brushed it off, said he didn't tell her anything, that she just overheard team conversations. You're overthinking it, love. I just think he's a fun guy. That's all. I wanted to believe her. I swear I did. But deep down, something began to eat away at my silence. It was just the beginning. I just didn't know yet how big of a hole that name was about to tear in my life. After that conversation, I thought she would change. For a week or two, it really seemed like she did. She talked about him less, avoided his name. But little by little, it all came back. And worse, it came back more subtly. Now, she didn't just talk about Rodrigo. She'd quote the team. The team was talking about this. They said that at the office, but always with that little way of slipping him into the middle of it. Always. The sickest part was seeing her enthusiasm. It was different. It wasn't professional admiration. It was infatuation disguised as small talk. I noticed. She started dressing up more, wearing different perfume. I began to pay attention to her schedule. Sometimes she'd take longer than usual to get home from work. She'd say she was sorting things out with HR, but she never really explained what, until the day I invited two other couples to go out with us. To catch up, relax. She looked at me and asked, "Do you think I could invite Rodrigo? I think he'd enjoy it. And you two have so much in common. You think so much alike." Silence. That's where my patience ran out. I answered immediately. "You want to bring your boss out with my friends? With me?" She froze, tried to fix it, said she just wanted to integrate him, that it was a silly idea. But the damage was done. It wasn't just suspicion anymore. Now, it was an invasion of my space, a complete lack of awareness, or worse, a poorly disguised, overwhelming interest. We had a huge fight. She swore she expressed herself badly, that she understood how it sounded, that she would back off. But the problem was never what she said. It was what she did when she thought I wasn't looking, and I was still trying to believe she was just starstruck. But the discomfort inside me could no longer be contained by silence. 2 years. 2 years after that first conversation about Rodrigo. I had swallowed a lot in silence. I grew distant, closed off. I became more observant, colder. She swore everything was fine, but I could feel it wasn't. She told me Rodrigo had been transferred, that they didn't work together anymore. I wanted to believe it, because the truth is, nobody wants to live in a war zone inside their own home. But doubt, it doesn't stay quiet. It was at a get-together. Her friends were there. The conversation was loose. The laughter was easy. The wine was cheap. Until one of them, half accidentally, half on purpose, said, "Rodrigo is still on the first floor, right? That man is always flirting. He even tried it on with me once." Time stopped. I said nothing. I just looked at Isabela. She turned white, visibly uncomfortable. She lowered her eyes, and in that silence, in that lack of reaction, came the confirmation I had never heard from her own lips. In that instant, I understood. She had something to hide. Maybe she had never officially done anything wrong. Maybe. But if there was nothing to hide, why the discomfort? Why the lie about the transfer? I got home with a knot in my stomach. The next day, I started looking, not for a scandal, not for a shouting match, for proof. She said she didn't talk to him anymore, but the messages on her phone told a different story. Lunches, conversations, and the same old sparkle. I confronted her. She denied it. Then she said they only had lunch a couple of times, that she didn't think it was important to tell me. It's not the kind of thing you need to mention when everything is right, but when you hide it, it's because you know something is wrong. That's when something inside me broke for good, not because of a physical affair. I still had no proof of that, but because of the betrayal of trust, the cowardice of denying the obvious. She had left me alone in a sham relationship while she nurtured feelings for another man. And when respect is gone, love can't hold anything together. After those conversations, her silence, her badly constructed lies, I changed. On the inside, I was no longer the same man, but on the outside, I kept everything the same. That's when she started trying. She became the perfect wife, attentive, dedicated. We were intimate almost every day, and not the usual way. New things, things we had never done together. I confess, part of me enjoyed it. The other part just watched. One day, I asked lightly, "Since when are you into this?" She smiled and said, "I've been reading some books, watching some things, trying to use my imagination more." I just nodded. I didn't argue. I didn't confront her. But inside me, the doubt grew like rust on old metal. Did she learn this with me or with someone else? She was trying to get back what she had lost, but not for love, for fear of losing me. The problem is, when you have to pretend to be something you've never been, sooner or later, the mask tears. She thought she was winning me back, but what she was actually doing was showing me who she could have been all this time, and chose not to be. When desire arrives too late, it becomes a reminder of what was never real. And it was in her theater that I began my own. I pretended everything was fine, that we would make it, that I still believed. Meanwhile, I started to assemble my plan, in silence, without rushing. She played with lies. I would respond with the truth, but on my time, on my stage, with my exit. That's when I got the offer. The United States, a leadership position, a salary far above what I was making. The company knew my performance. They knew I was ready to lead. I read the email 3 times. By the fourth, I had already decided. This wasn't just a job opportunity. It was my ticket back to myself. I came home with a smile she hadn't seen in a long time. "Love, I've been invited to lead a team abroad." She was ecstatic. She hugged me as if I were still hers. She immediately started talking about suitcases, visas, moving, a new life. "That's wonderful, love. I'll quit my job tomorrow. Of course, I'm going with you." She really believed we had turned a corner. She started getting organized, figuring out what to pack, who to tell, how she would say goodbye to her job. I smiled. I told her she could come later, that it would be better if I went ahead, to prepare everything, get the house set up, handle the paperwork. She agreed instantly. In that moment, she hugged me differently, tighter, more desperate, as if she were relieved by something I hadn't even promised. And that night, she outdid herself. She did things in bed we had never done together. Not even in the past few weeks, when she had been trying to win me back. She was a different person, intense, creative, surrendered, as if she were trying to erase everything she had done in a single night. I went along with it, but inside, I was already gone. The next day, I went to the bank. I organized everything, sold the car, terminated the lease on the house, which had always been rented, even though she thought it was ours. I filed for divorce. I hired a discreet lawyer. I had her sign the papers, claiming they were for the visa and a marital status declaration. But there, in that signature, it was written in plain text. She would have no right to alimony due to emotional infidelity and a breach of marital trust. I was leaving with everything clean, organized, and signed, and she would be left waiting for a week that would never come. You might be thinking that was cruel, but it wasn't. Cruelty is deceiving someone for 2 years with another man's name on your lips and your heart already given to him. I simply returned her silence with class. The day of my flight arrived. She drove me to the airport, with that hopeful look in her eyes. She talked about the following week, about her plans for when she arrived. I smiled. I said I would have the house ready, that in 7 days she would be by my side. We said goodbye with a kiss, cold on my part, needy on hers. I got on the plane without looking back. I knew it was the last time I would ever see her. 2 hours after the flight took off, she received the email, the official divorce petition, attached, the very document she herself had signed, waiving her right to alimony and any claim to my assets. She tried to call, sent messages. I didn't answer. She ran to a lawyer, tried to claim she was deceived, but everything had been done legally. The house was never hers. The car wasn't either. The money was already in another account. I heard through mutual friends that people at the company were talking. Even after she quit, her name still came up. Some said she gave the boss way too much attention. Others said they always knew. Rodrigo was still there, married, distant. He never looked at her the way she looked at him. She tried to contact him. He ignored her. That's when she understood. It wasn't his fidelity. It was his rejection of her. A month later, I received an email. No subject, no plea, just one sentence. You were right. I read it, deleted it, and moved on with my life. Because deep down, I never needed to catch them in the act. I never needed a photo, a video, a confession. All I had to do was see what she did, how she spoke of him, how she hid things, how she lied. She can swear nothing happened. Maybe nothing did. But if nothing happened, it wasn't because she said no. It was because he never said yes. For me, that was enough. When someone makes themselves available to another, they've already stopped being yours. And when respect is gone, there's nothing left to talk about. Just a slammed door and definitive silence. Alex didn't shout. He didn't expose her. He didn't retaliate with a scandal. He acted with something many people lose when they're betrayed: control. While she believed she was saving the marriage, he was saving himself. Isabella discovered, in the harshest way, that you can be sorry. But regret doesn't guarantee forgiveness, and it certainly doesn't guarantee a second chance. She tried to erase the traces of her mistake with kisses, promises, and performances. But he had already understood. What was broken there wasn't a relationship. It was respect. And when respect is gone, there's nothing left to build. Today, he lives in peace. She lives with the weight of knowing she was discarded by the one who valued her most. This was another story from Echoes of Temptation. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share it. If you've been through something similar, comment below. And remember, life doesn't always collect its debts on time, but eventually it always collects. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and until next time.